They thought it was just another joke. Just another outrageous, satirical jab from the unfiltered minds behind South Park. Trey Parker and Matt Stone had built their empire on the kind of comedy that punched up, down, and sideways without ever flinching. Nothing was sacred. Politicians, celebrities, religions, entire industries, they were all fair game. So when word spread about their upcoming DEI special, fans anticipated chaos. But no one expected what came next. A $100 million defamation lawsuit that pulled Rachel Zegler, Disney, and the broader debate about comedy and cancel culture straight into the eye of the storm. Rachel Zegler, once heralded as the next great Disney princess, a rising star with a golden voice and a Cinderella story, had found herself in the most unlikely of battles. She wasn't going toe-to-toe with critics or toxic fandoms this time. No, this time, she was going to war with South Park. It started with a dream. Literally. In the South Park episode, a character describes a nightmare in which all their favorite figures have been replaced, swapped out for diverse women echoing corporate talking points. The entire setup was a technicolor fever dream drenched in mockery, where pastels, identity politics, and snack budgets collided. And at the center of it all was a caricature of Rachel Zegler, pontificating about empowerment while gleefully dismantling the Snow White story. The parody was savage, crude, and, depending on who you asked, either hilarious or horrifying. Rachel, blindsided, didn't laugh. What some hailed as comedy gold felt to her like character assassination. South Park wasn't just poking fun, it was drawing a bullseye. The buzzwords, the smugness, the implication that she single-handedly destroyed a beloved franchise, it cut deep. For years, she'd endured online mockery and vitriol over her casting, interviews, and stances on feminism in film. But this went nuclear. Within days, news broke, Rachel Zegler was suing Trey Parker, Matt Stone, and South Park Studios for defamation. The number was staggering, $100 million, and the message was clear. She wasn't just protecting her name. She was challenging the very foundation of modern satire. The internet, naturally, exploded. On one side, Rachel's supporters hailed her bravery. Why should women, particularly women of color, have to endure being publicly dragged under the guise of humor? They argued this wasn't satire, it was targeted humiliation disguised as parody. On the other side, defenders of South Park accused Rachel of being overly sensitive, of failing to understand that everyone was fair game. Hadn't the show mocked Tom Cruise, Oprah, even Muhammad? What made her so special? Amid the chaos, late-night shows, YouTubers, and TikTokers swarmed the debate. The phrase Rachel versus South Park trended for days. Memes were born, parodies of the parody emerged, and think pieces flooded in. But beneath the noise was a more sobering question. Could this actually reshape how satire is treated under the law? Rachel's legal team argued yes. They claimed real harm. Her career had suffered, roles quietly rescinded, reputations stained. They pointed to studio execs backing off, agents going quiet, offers vanishing. The damage was quantifiable, they said. This wasn't harmless fun. South Park's camp clapped back with a time-tested defense. Satire is protected under the First Amendment. The absurdity, they argued, was the point. No reasonable viewer could take their version of Rachel seriously. It was comedy, not journalism. A joke. A very, very loud joke. But looming in the background, like a corporate specter, was Disney. Though not named in the suit, the Mouse House watched with bated breath. If subpoenaed, internal communications from the Snow White reboot could be exposed, scripts, memos, production emails. The trial risked peeling back the glossy veneer of one of Disney's most controversial projects and exposing chaos behind the scenes. Trey and Matt, for once, were silent. Legal advisors reportedly muzzled them, warning that another edgy quip could backfire in court. Scripts were shelved. A rumored follow-up episode, complete with puppet judges and a song titled "Sue Me Gently," was scrapped. Instead of mocking the scandal, they waited. Rachel, meanwhile, launched a carefully curated PR campaign. Tearful interviews. Reflective social media posts. She framed the lawsuit not as vengeance, but as advocacy, standing up for actors, especially young women, against a culture of cruel ridicule. She didn't want to destroy satire, she claimed. Just protect dignity. But for some, her media tour only fueled the fire. Critics accused her of playing the victim, of leveraging the controversy for sympathy. Her emotional vulnerability, they argued, felt like performance, less about justice, more about control. Still, the story gained traction. When the trial began, it wasn't just a courtroom battle. It was a media spectacle. Inside, the arguments were raw. Rachel's lawyers played clips from the episode, highlighting the scene-by-scene attacks. They brought in experts who testified about the psychological toll of online ridicule. They argued that in the age of TikTok, audiences, especially young ones, struggled to parse parody from reality. South Park's defense was unrelenting. Trey and Matt took the stand, calm but firm. "We chase absurdity," Matt said. "If people think that's real, that's a cultural problem, not a creative one." They admitted to courting controversy, to reveling in chaos.
But malice? Never.
Their goal wasn't destruction. It was laughter. When Rachel testified, the courtroom fell silent. She spoke of panic attacks, sleepless nights, lost roles, public humiliation.
Her voice cracked.
She wasn't just talking about cartoons, she was talking about power, about control, about what it means to be mocked for who you are rather than what you've done. The jury deliberated for days. And then, verdict.
Not liable.
It was a landmark ruling. The court acknowledged Rachel's suffering, but ultimately upheld satire as protected speech. The episode, however brutal, did not meet the legal standard for defamation.
The message?
Even cruel jokes have a place. Outside the courthouse, Rachel thanked her supporters. She didn't win, but she didn't lose either. She had forced the industry to listen.
Forced a conversation.
Trey and Matt said only 6 words, "We're going back to work."
And they did.
South Park returned weeks later with a new episode that featured a pastel kingdom ruled by censorship goblins and enchanted lawyers. The message was clear, if not direct. To anyone who's ever wanted to sue us, the episode opened, "Thanks for watching." Rachel moved on too, landing an indie drama that stunned critics.
A gritty performance. No songs. No satire. Just raw talent.
It was a reminder that beneath the headlines, the backlash and the parody, she was still an actor worth watching. In the end, this wasn't just about South Park or Rachel Zegler. It was about the cultural tipping point we've all been inching toward. A world where jokes can become lawsuits. Where animation can crash careers. Where the line between parody and defamation grows thinner with every viral post. For Rachel, it was a trial by fire. For South Park, another battle in their long war against the status quo. And for the rest of us, a reminder that in the age of outrage, even a cartoon can spark a revolution.